11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Verhoeven won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Using the ropes, steady him.
Smile from Sammy Pacquiao. Oh, counter server!
And thanks to those joining me live, those have been joining me on the archive, D style here. Want to go ahead and do this live, of course. There's the Usyk fight against Rico. How do you pronounce that dude's name? Right? Verhoeven or whatever the hell they call him. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Like Verhoeven? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure. Of course, they weighed in. Usyk is weighing 233. It looks like he's filling in more into the weight class, which is bound to happen, of course. And no more mid 220s for him. And of course, Rico Verhoeven. I don't even know how to pronounce that right, by the way. Weighed in at 258, almost 260 pounds. He'll have about a 28-pound weight advantage over Alexander Usyk, who's no stranger to having a weight disadvantage at this weight. All right, so we'll talk about that. Of course, Shields, Baumgardner drama. I have some thoughts on that. Samson, in a recent interview, right, with the Punch podcast, basically smearing Jai Opetia, in my opinion, and I understand why he's doing it. I'm not mad at the guy, but I mean, we got to call spades around here anyway. So, but before we even get into any of that, I want to. There's this podcast, man, and I don't know. It's called the Official Ring Champs. All right, with the Ak and Barack, who I'm not a fan of, by the way. I think they may be talented individuals. They're very successful and all that. I'm not taking that away from them. However, what I can't really give them is having boxing knowledge. They give very elementary takes. I think their takes are trash, quite frankly. I think a lot of it is clickbait. I think a lot of it is rage bait. I think a lot of it is for attention. And if it's not, it's even more troubling. I mean, and like it's, I'm going to play some of the stuff here and then we'll, my laptop is having issues. So I'm going to do it the old fashioned way with my phone here and all that. So let's play this part.
He was 69-0. He fought a guy that was 5-3 named Anchors Addo, right? 5-3 now, 69-0, undefeated, 69-0, fighting a guy 5-3. But Ron, I want to go one further, right? Before you was born, no, 77-0, 7 wins, no losses. 77 wins, no losses. You fought a guy by the name of Ignacio Arduino. Ignacio Arduino was 7-2, 7 wins, 2 losses. He was 7.
So here's my issue with this take, and this little partner in crime like does the other side of it, but he just brings it weak. Quite frankly, they're not even trying at this point. He's looking at BoxRec, going through the list and seeing opponents of Chavez Senior, by the way, and saying, "Oh, look, he fought this guy, and he was already 66-0, and he was 77-0, and he fought this dude, and when he was this, like, talk about a lazy take." I mean, that's just lazy. I mean, I could expect that from some casuals. I could expect that from, dudes that just got into boxing maybe and started a podcast and, think they know something because they're going through box rec. But that's kind of what they sound like, by the way. It's like, my God, it sounds like these guys have not been watching boxing that long. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like they're new to the game. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what they sound like. And the reason I say that is because, is that your groundbreaking take? Is this the type of content that brings engagement and brings people to, like, is this it? Because I can't bring myself to do that. I'm not going to make myself sound stupid, right? Just because it's in a rage bait people or make people say shit. I just can't do it. That's just me, right? But I can't do it. Sorry. Like, what is this? So he didn't bring himself. He didn't say, you know what? Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's a reason Chavez Sr. was 77-0 and fought a guy that was 7-2 or whatever he said it was, right? Maybe there's a reason he fought somebody with under 10 fights, 2 losses already, in Mexico, more than likely. And maybe there's a reason he had those in-between fights, like, maybe, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's that hard. That's the part that, maybe the explanation isn't juicy and great. You know what I mean? I don't know, but for those that don't know, like, Chavez Sr. had over 100 fights. Like, do you think that there's over 100 world-class top elite fighters that exist? Right? Like at one given time, and if they did, do you think he's going to fight them back to back? And is he going to fight them like twice a month, once every 6 weeks? Like, do you really believe that's going to happen? Like, it takes just a little bit of just like critical thinking. It just takes just a little bit of time to just process this and be like, like, I wonder why he fought that guy. Maybe it was a stay busy fight between other fights. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's the way it was done back then. Guys fought a lot of those in between fights, okay? And that's how they did it. Maybe that's what it was. We cannot judge it as if he was fighting once a year, because if he did that, to get a record of 100-0, he would have to fight for 100 years. So we know he can't do it once a year. Even twice a year, it would take him over 50 years to fight the amount of fights he fought. So we know he had to be a very active fighter. He started young. Not much of an amateur career, very small amateur experience. Starts very young as a teenager, builds up his record. That's how they do. Like, it doesn't take that much, like, critical thinking, right? It doesn't take that much, guys. It just doesn't. With that said, let's play this one.
I said it. Finito Lopez is a better fighter than Chavez Sr. I said it. He's a more skilled, well-rounded boxer. Yes, Oscar lost some big fights. He beat Chavez, though, and he moved up to a lot of divisions, and he fought everybody. So when you talk about resume, he fought everybody that was prime in his era. Oscar De La Hoya. So more accomplishments, in my opinion, a more skilled fighter than Chavez, even though he was born in L.A.
So here's my thing. Again, I don't know what this dude's whole thing. Like, I think he's trying to rage bait Mexican fight fans, is what I believe he's trying to do, right? And this happens. I don't know. This happens to be a thing. Like, I've noticed, because the Mexican American fan base really carries the sport of boxing in the United States, because the Latino fan base is so big, right? For some reason, his content creators think that rage baiting, that fan base is like a very useful tool, right? So they do things to, like, well, look, I said Finito's better than him. I said Canelo's better than him. I said De La Hoya's better than him in this case, right? And here's my thing. If somebody wants to believe that Oscar De La Hoya is better than Chavez, right, or had a better resume, better career, right, than Chavez. If you want to believe that, that's totally fine. That's your opinion. However, that's it. Like that's your argument. Like I mean, I'm trying to understand. It's just funny to me that in the same sentence that you say he's better than Chavez because he beat Chavez, De La Hoya fought everybody in their prime, right? Like he says it like two sentences apart. Like the unawareness, like there is literally, I get he's in his soapbox, and I get he has a co-host that's gonna debate him and really bring it weak, so he doesn't really have to sharpen his points and get ready for somebody to counter him. I get that, right? But at the end of the day, shout out to EA Sports, my guy. How you doing? Hope everything's good. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Let me know you're there. You guys are watching me. You're not saying anything. Let me know you're there. By the way, but I just want to like kind of understand what's this dude's issue with Chavez. Is he using him for clickbait because he knows Chavez is regarded by many, not even by me, by the way, but I think Salvador Sanchez is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. But Chavez, he's like top 3, maybe number 2 for me. But with that said, I get everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't understand why he's hell bent on trying to prove that all these Mexican fighters are better than Chavez, and I'm going to prove it because look, he fought this guy in a 7-7 fight, and he only had, he was 7-2, and De La Hoya is better than because De La Hoya beat him, right? He was in his 30s, and like again, no context, right? In the same breath where he's talking about the dude having 77 fights, right? His unawareness to not understand that when you say he was in his mid-30s, right, that's a very old Chavez, but you guys know that. If you're listening to this, you know that, right? This is a channel with very smart boxing listeners, right? But so I'm just preaching to the choir. I understand that, but it's unbelievable to me that that's his conclusion. It's unbelievable to me, right? And based on what exactly? Like, yes, De La Hoya fought a lot of guys. He beat a lot of great fighters, right? But he also lost a lot of fights. And I think a lot of people have very selective memory when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya, right? Oscar De La Hoya, basically, once he arrived to welterweight, you can argue lost all his biggest fights against any prime fighters. Whitaker wasn't in his prime, and a lot of people feel Whitaker beat him, right? Now, that's a debate. I get that, right? Like, I get all that, but we have to put in perspective. A much older Whitaker, by the way, than Chavez fought. So I'm trying to, and De La Hoya, by the way, being a lot bigger than Whitaker and a lot fresher than Whitaker. So Whitaker was coming off a fight where he was knocked down. Like, there's a lot of context we got to really put into here, but that's, you tell me a bigger win for De La Hoya than Mel Dictator. You tell it to me, right? Mel Dictator was regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. Mel Dictator, I mean, this was a unification for supremacy of the division, of the light welterweight division. Mel Dictator, gold medalist, right? Had all the amateur accolades that De La Hoya had, right? Some of the fastest, if not the fastest hands ever. De La Hoya beat that guy. I'm sorry, Chavez beat that guy. Chavez, all right, has wins, I would argue, much better than Oscar De La Hoya. Much better, right? And whether it's, you got guys like Rocky Lockridge, right? I just don't, maybe Cortez, maybe Cortez a guy that you could kind of, put there, you know what I mean? I guess, Cortez. Shout out to my guy. Let me read this comment. The creation of criteria when doing any sort of comparison and contrast paramount. Without it, opinions are ass. Well, people don't care anymore, right? People don't give a shit, brother. People don't care. This dude, I don't know if that's Aqua Barack, but he doesn't care how he sounds or how it comes off when he talks. He just doesn't give a shit. All right? Craig Haugen. How many fighters does De La Hoya have on his resume that he beat better than Greg Hogan? Right? There is, but how many of them are there? How many? They both beat Macho Camacho, but let's be honest. Macho Camacho was 40-1. He only had one loss at the time, right? And was on a hell of a winning streak when Chavez fought him. He's the one that fought Camacho in his prime, not De La Hoya. De La Hoya didn't fight him in his prime. Oh, De La Hoya, he fought everybody in their prime. What are you talking about? Exactly. What exactly are we talking about here? And why skip over all the fighters with 36 and 1 records, 29 and 1 records, and guys that were 24 and 0, guys that were 44 and 0, guys that were 26 and 3, 34 and 5. You skip over all those names, and you handpick guys that were probably they could have been last minute replacements. Okay, they could have been, I need to stay busy. That's the best guy they could find at the time. It could have been anything. It's unbelievable to me. Right? How many guys better than Roger Mayweather, the Mexican assassin? How many guys better than Roger Mayweather that De La Hoya beat in his career? There's a couple, but how many of them? You're not going to bring up, Jose Luis Ramirez, who was 101 fights and 6 losses. You're so focused on the dude that was 5-1 or whatever. Rafael Limon, great win, by the way, for Chavez. Knocked dude out. Edwin Rosario. I mean, Mel Dictator is the only name that I could say De La Hoya beat that's better than Rosario, in my opinion. However, that was not a prime Whitaker, and a lot of people don't even think De La Hoya won that fight. So it's this what it is. Juan Laporte, Rocky Lockridge, I already mentioned. I'm trying, I just don't quite understand it. Ruben Castillo, 16-4 at the time. Yes, yes, he had a lot of tune-ups in between. There was a lot of tune-ups in between. Of course there was. But you can't ignore, okay, if half of them are tune-ups, okay, fine. 50 of them are not. That's still more fights than De La Hoya had. You think De La Hoya, who do you think De La Hoya fought for his first 10 fights? And he only had 30 of them. So what are we doing? With that said, trash. Just trash takes. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Rage bait obviously worked a little bit, but I just wanted to touch on it. Next, I want to talk about, and shout out to everyone who may be or may not be watching from out in Australia. And that's right, my brother, Facts. That's for sure. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Share the video on the social media platforms. I much appreciate. Tell me what you think, by the way. It's a silent Friday. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Only my guy, EA Sports, has something to say. All right? But I appreciate you guys being here either way. I want to talk about Samson Lukowitz, who... Look, I want to try to be as fair as possible to Samson, okay? I really like Samson. I really do. It's not going to sound like I do, but it is what it is. But he just flat out wrong in his assessment of Jai Opetia, and I would hope that he can, at the very least, offer an apology to Jai Opetia. Yeah, I'm going there. That's how much I feel, whether intentional or unintentional, or because he's trying to, help his guy, understandably so, of David Benavidez, and the perception that maybe he's trying to avoid the fight with Jai Opetia, which understand that he's the promoter / manager really of David Benavidez, and kind of noticing that knowing that you got to kind of give him a pass. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is, right? I just don't like what he had to say about Jai Opetia here. I just don't. And when to play, this is from the Punch podcast again. I can't share it on my screen because I'm having computer issues. So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. All right.
So money can buy love, but not love, you know. So far, I don't believe he will succeed because already did several shows and nothing special. Some distant fight, but no names. And whatever names he got, I didn't see till now anybody that he lost, he come back to fight again. Like in Pro Box TV, like in the zone, that you lose and then you come back for rematch or he allows you to have another fight.
He's talking about Zuffa here.
With Zuffa, I didn't see it yet. And
is there any benefit or is there a commercial reason why you would take that fight with David Benavidez just from the best versus the best at cruiserweight? Like, is the ring belt enough to get that?
All right. That's a good question, right? And I'm glad he asked it. So, but I do think the Punch podcast did a good job here, okay? And that's a good question. And the question, I'll repeat, is it not enough in terms of, like, aside from he's with Zuffa, no one knows who he is, like, the fact that it's the best versus the best, he's the ring champion. Is that not enough to maybe think about making this fight? And this is what Samson said.
Fight done, given he's lost his IBF belt?
no, because he means nothing without the belt. For the culture of the fans, it need to be a belt. A belt. He lost the belt for money, so now let him keep the money. You know, if he lost much more fighting Benavides for the title and unification that he's making now. He make a very bad decision. I believe the people surrounded him. He didn't have a patient to look for the best for his fighter. So he didn't look for the best. Because money is not everything for a fighter. The bell is everything for the fighter.
I mean, you can only look around the room.
So, well, by the way, my guy, were you able to hear that? I just want to make sure that's clear because I can't hear myself. Well, you know, because playing through the mic. What are we doing here? And this is why I say it's a smear. I'm going to give Samson Lukowitz the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that maybe his English isn't the best, right? Look, his English is better than my Spanish, so I'm not like throwing shade, but maybe his English isn't the best. And he didn't quite word that the way you wanted to word it. If I give him the absolute benefit of the doubt. If I do that, right? And like, who are you to say that Jai Opetia chose money over his belt? Basically, strongly insinuating that Jai Opetia sold out for money. And now he needs to live with the consequences of being a sellout and choosing money over legacy and choosing money over wanting to be a world champion, choosing money over wanting to become undisputed, choosing money over getting a fight like David Benavidez. Like, basically, that's essentially what he's saying. Intended or not, I'll give him the benefit. Let's say he didn't intend it that way, right? Let's say he had something else in mind. That's how it came out. And I'll tell you why. And maybe if he's listening or if it gets out there, perhaps he needs to give this a thought, right? And I do kind of wish the again, I think the interview did a great job. I just wish he would have kind of touched on this a little more, although it's not his job to be an advocate for Jai Opetia or nothing like that in the middle of an interview. So it's no fault of his, really. But I don't mind being an advocate for Jai Opetia. I don't mind speaking up for whatever it's worth for a fighter that is getting basically, whether intentional, unintentional, getting smeared, right? And getting basically, like, I'm not going to say Samson is lying, but he's telling a lot of untruths here, right? Like I think he's got Jai Opetia wrong. If you just do a little bit of research on Jai Opetia, just a little bit, you would learn that Jai Opetia essentially, for his first over a dozen fights, I think like 17 fights, something like that, made no money. Nothing. For his first 17 or so fights. No money coming in for Jai Opetia. Essentially, stepped into a squared circle. And somehow, whether you want to call it the politics of boxing, the way things work in Australia, whatever you want to call it, right? He essentially stepped in there, put his health and risk and life on the line for free for his first 17 fights. And that's just the reality. All right? That's who you're saying sold out for money? Oh, but these style. That was a while back. These style? Like, what do you mean? Like this was... Okay, fine. Billum Smith. There was a purse bid. Billum Smith was asking for more money than was already arranged by the IBF. Jai Opetia said, sure. Give him what he wants. I'll take less. You're calling that Jai Opetia a sellout? You're saying that that's the guy that did it for the money? At this point, if this gets out to Samson, his eyebrows should be going up a little bit, right? If anything, he should be thinking, man, what a horrible job his management team did. He wasn't making any money, right? If anything, he should be thinking, man, poor guy. I mean, he essentially just fights for free almost. I mean, he must be crazy. Paulie Malignaggi, when he heard that Jai Opetia, who lost by knockout, by the way, got destroyed, absolutely annihilated. Like, Paulie Malignaggi got annihilated by an MMA fighter in a bare knuckle fight. He just got absolutely destroyed in every way. I mean, he just got annihilated, right? But he came out and him, the whole boxing scene crew who run Pro Box, by the way, we're talking about, oh, of course it was Jai Opetia. Because Jai Opetia, essentially, I mean, he doesn't, like, that guy will fight anybody for anything, right? Is essentially what they were saying. Oh yeah, he'll fight for 150,000 when he should be making millions, and that's what Paulie Malignaggi was saying. Paulie Malignaggi said, I don't know how true this is, and I don't know why he was talking about Jai Opetia with random people, right? But maybe Samson should have asked these same people around Australia. According to Paulie Malignaggi, he talked to several people and said, you know, like, Jai gets ripped off, essentially fights for free. Like he'll take anything to fight anybody, right? And Paulie meant this as a negative toward Jai Opetia, right? No, I get it. I just hear say from Paulie Malignaggi, but I'm just saying. Jai Opetia, there's a co-promotion, right, with Tasman, but he gets signed with Matchroom. Jai Opetia, shout out to Champy, by the way. JC, how you doing? And let me know what you guys think about this Jai Opetia situation. I'm really dying to know what you guys think, by the way. But Whether you're watching live now, right in the chat, or in the comments later on the archive. Shout out to all the Australians out there. I really want to know what you guys think here, and if you agree with me, right? But I just hope Samson understands. I don't know who Samson was talking about. Like maybe he confused Jai Opetia with somebody else. I know it's hard to believe because, I mean, clearly there's only one ring champion called Jai Opetia. There's only one best in the world called Jai Opetia in any division, especially cruiserweight. But that said, the reality is, when you say something like, wow, he gave it up for the money. Now he could keep his money, right? When you say that about a guy who fought over a dozen fights essentially for free, who, by all accounts, everyone talks about how he was getting underpaid for all his other fights, according to guys in the business like Paulie Malignaggi and people in Australia, according to Paulie Malignaggi, right? He finally gets some paid, as God forbid, right? Before Zuffa, he was with Matchroom. Eddie says, I failed Jai Opetia. Those are his words. I tried to make these unifications. They wouldn't happen. These guys didn't want to fight him. I tried my best. I failed Jai Opetia is what he said. So, freeze time there. You're Jai Opetia. You're the ring champion. You've already been stripped of your IPF belt before for a bullshit reason. You won the belt back. You win the belt back. You're the reigning champion. Matchroom doesn't resign you because essentially Eddie's saying, I bled money with this guy. I wasn't making any money with him. Right? That's what Eddie Hearn said. And, well, fair enough. But nobody else offered him anything. Samson is a promoter on paper. Samson made no offers to Jai Opetia that I know about. Maybe Samson could enlighten me and tell me what he offered Jai Opetia. You have David Benavidez, right? If you want it, like you say, this fight could have happened, but he sold out to Zuffa for the money. Sold out compared to what? Like, what do you offer him? What did Samson Lukowitz, PBC, or that side over there, offer Jai Opetia? They don't have to offer him nothing. Okay, fine. That's cool. I'm not saying they have to. But let's just let it be on record that nothing was offered. What about Oscar De La Hoya, who had Zurdo Ramirez, right? What did he offer Jai Opetia? He's quick to say Jai made a mistake by signing with Zuffa, but what did he offer Jai Opetia? Nothing. Now you could say, well, they don't have to offer him anything, Eric. People are free to offer whatever they want to whoever they want. Fair enough. I don't disagree with that. However, facts are facts, right? We're going somewhere with this. Did Top Rank offer anything to Jai Opetia? No, right? Did No Limit offer anything to Jai Opetia? From my knowledge, no. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I don't believe so. Did anyone else in the entire boxing industry, in this current day model, in a traditional model, offer anything to Jai Opetia? No. The only ones that offered anything to Jai was Zuffa. They're the only ones that offered anything to Jai. That's it. So put yourself in Jai's shoes. You offer to take less money to fight Billum Smith. He still wouldn't unify with you, right? Or he wouldn't fight you for the belt, whatever. You're trying to make the fight with Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez is acting like he doesn't know you. He doesn't know who you are, this, that, and the third, right? And this is when you were in Matchroom. Matchroom doesn't sign you. What are you supposed to do? We got all these geniuses coming. Oh, he made a mistake. He should have made that. Why did he sign with Zuffa? Like, just talk about Monday morning quarterbacking. But so he signs with Zuffa, and Samson is making it sound like he signed his soul. Like he signed his soul away. Like he signed his soul to the devil, right? Jai Opetia on the dotted line put, I will sell my soul in exchange for never getting the Benavidez fight. It sounds ridiculous, right? Just saying, no, he sold out for money. He did it for the money. So, hey, he doesn't want to fight for the belts. He wants to fight for money. Now, granted, on its face, that just sounds ridiculous, right? It is prize fighting. All of these dudes at that level are fighting for a lot of money. That's just a ridiculous thing to say to begin with, right? Benavidez is taking millions himself. Like, why isn't he selling out, right? But at the end of the day, a couple of things. This IBF thing isn't over. I believe Jai Opetia was unjustly stripped. That's how I feel about it, right? They unjustly stripped him. You can have your opinion, whatever, but from my understanding, this shit's going to court. And I just don't see how it holds up in court, the stripping, right? I just don't see it. So we'll see if that even goes to court. But I predicted that it would. It looks like it is. So, and the only thing that may kind of get the IBF off the hook a little bit is the fact that by the looks of it, I'm already seeing rumors here. There's some pretty reliable sources out there putting out that, or outlets, I should say, that Jai Opetia is going to be fighting the WBC champion. We also know that Conor Benn, who signed with Zuffa, has already, like, Ryan Garcia has already announced he's going to be fighting Conor Benn for the WBC belt. So this whole, like, Zuffa fighters can't fight for the traditional belts, is that whole argument's going to fall apart the moment Zuffa fighters start fighting for traditional belts, right? Furthermore, all that aside, and it's very important to state this, and maybe Samson didn't know this, so Samson and supporters of Samson's argument, Jai Opetia was doing multiple interviews, weeks out before his fight, saying, no, my fight's for the IBF title. My IBF title's going to be on the line. I'm going to defend this belt. I love this belt. I broke my jaw for this belt. I'm going to defend this belt. That's on record. He never chose between one or the other. Very important. Furthermore, regardless of what Dana said, what Conor said, what Emmanuel said, Zuffa said, regardless of any of that, Jai Opetia said what he said. Jai Opetia showed up to the press conference with the belt. The same press conference that the IBF cried and said that their belt wasn't prominently, featured. Well, how about on the champ? How about that? Right? Like, what about that? What about the fact that he posed? What about the fact that Zuffa was posting flyers saying the IBF title will be on the line, including the IBF belt? Oh, no, it's because the rule says that if you have an unsanctioned belt on the line, that they could strip you. The problem is that they already sanctioned the fight, and then they pulled the sanction. Just because you didn't like how the Zuffa belt was presented, well, have at it in court presenting that one. You had already accepted the payment for the sanctioning fee. What are done? You don't pay a sanctioning fee if you're trying to get out of it, especially ahead of time. So the thing is, Samson is just wrong. What he's saying, it just isn't factually true. It's not even a matter of opinion. All right? Jai Opetia didn't pick money over the belt. That's not what he did. That's just a factually wrong statement. All right? It's just wrong. Now, if you want to say, well, I believe he made a mistake by signing with Zuffa, and he should have anticipated the consequences of that, right? And he should have totally been prepared for losing his belt, right? At best, you can say, right, that he didn't see that coming, but you can't say objectively that he made a conscious decision to pick money over his belt. That's just factually wrong, and Samson Lukowicz owes an apology to Jai Opetia for saying that, in my opinion. I think he is way out of bounds on this one. He just way out of this one was way out there. It's just factually untrue what he said. And it'll be like, if he does fight for the WBC belt, well, what's your next argument then? Now, I'm going to tell you what's really happening here. I'm going to translate what the promoter, and Samson isn't the only one. All promoters really do this. All handlers, managers even do this. But so I'm just going to tell you what Samson is trying to say. We have no interest in fighting Jai Opetia. He's too big of a risk for too little reward. We don't think it's worth it. It's a very dangerous fight. He's not going to say that, but that's essentially what he's saying, right? So he's trying to basically make the public believe that Jai Opetia is at fault for this fight not happening, right? Jai, he chose money over the belts, over unification. So, he never did it before, but all of a sudden he's going to do that. Where all evidence strongly suggests the opposite, right? All evidence suggests that Jai Opetia is a fighter's fighter and has proven that he'll fight for free, has proven that he'll take a pay cut, has proven that he's not anywhere near amongst the top paid fighters in the sport, even being on ring cards, whatever, right? When there's guys that were making millions on his ring cards, and Jai was making, I think, like 900,000 or something like that. It's like he's always done the absolute opposite, offer more money to his opponents, right? Like he's always done the opposite of that. But because he got a payday, whatever it is, I think the report said $1 million or maybe less than that, a little bit. Like now that somehow means he's sold out. And by the way, they paid the sanctioning fee. All the moves were the opposite of what Samson Lukowicz is suggesting, is all I'm saying. And because of that, I think Samson Lukowicz completely, at best, and I've given the benefit of the doubt, has completely misread Jai Opetia. It's one thing to say he made a mistake by signing over there. That's one thing. But to say that he made a conscious decision to do it is completely out of bounds. I'm sorry. All right? And shout out to Samson, but he does a lot of good things, but he's just wrong on this one. All right? Well, apparently not, Andrew, because apparently doesn't take him out of the equation, because Conor Benn's a Zuffa fighter. It looks like he's going to be fighting for the belt. Lastly, this whole notion, no, it's got to be for the belts. And I think people are caught up with the belts, but guys, essentially, boxing is about the best fighting the best. That's what it's about. All right? It's not about which belt's on the line. It's about the best fighter fighting the best fighter. That's it. All right? Some of these belts didn't even exist when fucking Jack Johnson became. None of them did when Jack Johnson became the heavyweight champion of the world. But what was significant about it? He was the best in the world. All right? When the NBA was around, that's now the WBA, there was no WBC around, or there was no IBF around, or there was no WBO around. How the whole 90s WBO wasn't even recognized, right? As a major sanctioning body. Yet, guess what? Let's bring it to another point, by the way. The IBF sanctions fights all the time when there's belts that are not of the big four. They do it all the time. WBF belts, IBC belts, and IBA belts, and IBO, and the ring even. Like, give me a fucking break, right? So at the end of the day, we're gonna see how it all pans out, guys. But and he just came in. I was talking about Jai Opetia, Samson. You can go back and listen to the rest of it, guys. But that's my thoughts on that. I don't have much to say about Usyk versus Rico, by the way. I just don't. I watched some of Rico. Decent speed, and it's just hard to read, really. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you reminded me about Broner. I'm going to talk about Broner a little bit, actually. Thank you for that. Usyk versus Rico. Verhoeven. I don't know why we keep doing this. I don't know why there's a special WBC belt on the line for this. The King of the Nile belt. I don't get. I think that isn't the ring belt on the line. Like, I just don't. I don't understand for the life of me why this fight's even happening. Right? I don't get why a guy with one fight is fighting the current. You know, in my opinion, he's the undisputed champion of the world. But people get, again, you guys get caught up with the belts. He's not undisputed. The guy you already knocked the fuck out has the other belt. Yeah, like whatever. Like, well, whatever. The unified champion, you want to be technical. But the current heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk, he's the real heavyweight champion, the only one I acknowledge, right? And he's going to be fighting this kickboxer. I don't understand it. I just don't get it. And then what does the sport gain out of it? Nothing, right? If by any chance this dude clocks Usyk with like some, they're throwing punches, guys. Literally, and even if it's unlikely, anything could happen, right? It's just the way it is. It could be as unlikely as it is, but anything could happen. He outweighs Usyk by 30 pounds. If it's one thing, if a guy like Dubois would have caught Usyk and knocked him, that's one thing, right? That chance was always there, right? But that's one thing. But if this dude catches Usyk and knocks him out, I mean, do you guys not understand how bad it's to make the sport look? Do you not understand the amount of people that could come on the internet and be like, oh, man, this is the guy they say, and boxing fans, there's some out there that say he's better than Muhammad Ali. And this kickboxer beat him. This is the guy that this boxing fan that say he's number one pound for pound. That means he's better than all of the boxers. Pound, if they're all the same size, Usyk is better than all of them, right? Then this is it. So what are we even doing here? Nobody should even have the opportunity to do that. Like they should have to work their way up. There's a filtering system. No, bro, you got to fight a top 15 dude, then maybe a top 10 dude, and then okay, then we'll talk, right? Like, what are we doing here? I just don't get it. I'm very confident that Usyk's going to win. I don't want anybody to misread what I'm saying, right? But, like, I'm not Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul confident. That one I knew was a foregone conclusion. This one I do kind of feel it's a foregone conclusion, but not to that degree, right? This is a professional fighter. Kickboxers have had success in boxing in the past, right? Vitaly Klitschko started a kickboxer. I think Dillian White started as a kickboxer. Algieri started as a kickboxer. Holly Holm started as a kickboxer. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying. Oh man, what's the name? Troy. Oh my God, I forgot the name of Troy, the kickboxer that won the IBF. Had that great fight with Mauro Pies. Troy Dorsey. All right. Now, granted, they didn't do it after one fight. I get all that, but we do know that kickboxers have made a transition. Now, granted, the keyword transition into boxing and have had success, but I just don't understand. Like, even if Usyk wins this fight and knocks this guy out, like in a couple of rounds or whatever, it's still a bad look for the sport. What does it say about the sport of boxing? If like a dude in one fight could challenge for the heavyweight championship of the world, there's fighters that spend their whole career just trying to get this shot. That used to mean something. Getting your shot used to mean something. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, well, what are we doing? Like, I'm just saying that this guy's a better kick. He's a better striker, let's just put it that way, than Ngannou, in my opinion. And we saw Tyson shit the bed with that one. No. Anthony Joshua cleaned the shit up on aisle 6, but I'm just saying, this shouldn't be happening, right? This shouldn't be happening. What in the world are we doing? What a joke. Like no one, like nobody. This is what guys like Benavidez call the Super Bowl. Like anytime you fight for belts. So the Rico is fighting in the Super Bowl, right? So you're telling me right now that, like, could you just imagine this in anything else? Like in anything. Like, you can just put a random team from another sport in the Super Bowl and they get to play for the Lombardi. That's not how it works. You can't just take some like really good team out of Spain or some shit from some Spain league or whatever league, right? And have them play for the NBA championship, right? Like you can just do that. Like they don't have to play through the season, no playoffs. Just boom, you just get to play for a championship. And if they happen to pull off the upset, that's it. They're NBA champions. I mean, what in the world? What are we doing? Like, this is absolutely insane. Like, for years, I followed the career path of fighters from when they turned pro, looking at their ascent, seeing if they can crack the top 25, seeing if they could get past, like, you know what I mean? Like, just get them past that prospect stage, become top contenders, and then, you know, like, it's working your way up the ranks, and eventually, like, it's just an awesome experience. And then seeing them finally get their title shot and seeing if they could win or not, and that is like, what are we doing? Like, this dude just walks in and gets a title shot because he was successful in another sport. What are we doing? Like what in the world, bro? The WBC, the ring, they should all be ashamed of themselves. What a joke, right? I mean, at this point, just give that dude on the no limit card, like that rugby player, title shot at this point. I mean, we might as well. But we're gonna keep it moving. Really quick, Broner. Look, man, what's happening to Broner is just sad, bro. And this whole live streaming thing just isn't for that dude, man. This is a mess. He's drunk every night. For some reason, people are sending him money by Cash App. I don't know why anybody would be sending money to Adrien Broner, right? You're just being enablers at that point. But whatever, you can do whatever you want with your money, but I just don't understand it. Every other day, this him and this dude, what's his name, are breaking up, and he's done with Adrien Broner. Like, every other day. Give me a second, guys. All right, my bad. It was getting dark in here. Every day they're breaking up here. Like, what are they, boyfriend and girlfriend? Like, well, what are we doing here? Which is a girlfriend, right? And then Adrien Broner just like this. He can't be on camera all the time, bro. I mean, he's inappropriately touching girls. Apparently, he's getting in girls' faces. He's abandoning dude with people he just met. He wants to take a shot with everybody he knows. I don't know what to believe sometimes with these live streaming things. I know a lot of it's for clicks, but at the end of the day, what have we done? This is absolutely insane. Shout out to LT, Remy, Chicano. How you guys doing? But nah, man, Adrien Broner needs to get it together, bro. Adrien Broner has some serious issues. Like, he really does. Like, he needs help, bro. And to think, this guy was flushing hundreds down the toilet at one point. And he ain't going to make money off of fighting anymore. He's done. I know you guys saw his last fight. The dude's done. Right? He hasn't looked good in years. He looked really bad at last fight. He's drinking every day. He looks completely out of shape. This dude's done in terms of boxing. And this streaming shit, it ain't made for him, bro. It's just gonna end up in if he keeps going this path. But what I'm looking at, he's gonna end up in a fucking hospital, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's just what's gonna happen. So he looks like he's always intoxicated, emaciated. He looks high half the time, right? Like, I don't know, man. He looks dehydrated too. Like the dude just has issues. Like you know. So, and the people that think it's funny, it's all funny games. They think it's funny, but then they get mad at people when they criticize it. You know what I mean? And they're gonna get even more mad when people say, "I told you so." So like if you want to enable it. Obviously, it's getting used for clicks. Like, you know, it just is what it is. But and Adrien Broner has some issues, bro. All right. With that said, look, for those that don't know, Claressa Shields slapped Baumgardner in the face in an altercation. This happened at the Ronda Rousey Carano event. I don't know where exactly. I don't remember what time. It was before the fight, after the fight, whatever, but it happened. Guys, I'm not even Claressa Shields' biggest fan. But a lot of you out there do have double standards in this situation. I remember Caleb Plant being celebrated when he slapped Jamal. Right, I remember that. You know, so what are we doing? And people were making fun of Devin Haney when he filed the lawsuit, but now they're encouraging Alicia Baumgardner to do it, and MVP's put out a statement, but they don't put a statement for the MMA dude that jumped a rail and tried to fight some guy. Like what are we doing here? There's no doubt in my mind there's an altercation between two male fighters. Everyone's reaction will be completely different. There's no doubt in my mind. None. And this is not a situation, by the way, where Baumgardner was minding her own business and told Shields, "Hey, leave me alone." And she kept walking, and Shields followed her and then slapped her. That's not what happened. They were both in each other's faces. They were arguing. There was some words. I don't know what the words were that were being exchanged back and forth, right? But at the end of the day, yes, Shields reached out and slapped her. It sounded like the sweet chin music. I heard it sounded like when Michaels would land the sweet chin music, he would slap his leg. That's what it sounded like. It was like, you know, we could hear it. And well, Alicia's energy shifted a little bit after that. It's got to be honest, right? And then the way she acted afterwards. So what I'm going to say is this, right? I don't know whether even Shields is talking about taking it to court. She doesn't know that the courts is the law, by the way, but that's a different topic. All I know is that they're not going to fight. Just let it go. I don't want to hear either one talk about the other if they're not going to fight. That's how I feel about it. All right? If you're not going to fight, then don't talk about each other. Right? And if it is true, I don't know if it's true or not, that Baumgardner was telling Shields, "I'll beat your ass right here," and then she got slapped, and now she's trying to. Well, you can't say "I'll beat your ass right here," and then sue if that is in fact the case, right? If anybody has better audio I can listen to, I would like to listen to it. I just want to know that's true, because that's what Shields said, right? But with all that said, all I know that everybody's energy is a little different, given the fact that it's two women. I'm just saying, right? I really don't like where it's going, especially if they're not going to fight. You know, they're getting very ugly, and Shields already said that Baumgardner has slept around a lot, that she's a whore, and like she's really going in, right? And Baumgartner's saying her piece. I just feel like if you're not going to fight, I just don't want to hear you talk about each other. That's how I feel about it. One last thing. Well, no, that was it. That's the show. Did I have another thing I want to talk about? I'm probably going to end the show, remember, but With that said, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, go after this. Go check out my Stephanie Hahn interview. I appreciate that. And I'm out of here, guys. Peace.